Right now on Good Morning America, first look, a tariff exemption on small packages entering the U.S. expiring overnight. Dozens of countries now suspending shipments to the U.S. What it means for American consumers.
The 8-year-old and 10-year-old killed in the Minnesota Catholic school shooting are identified as we learn more about the moments after the gunfire erupted and the new push for tighter security at schools.
Holiday travel trouble. Air traffic control radios failing, triggering delays in the Northeast. And elsewhere, severe turbulence diverting a flight to Texas.
Questions being raised after U.S. border agents arrested 2 firefighters while they were fighting a wildfire.
Plus, a judge greenlights a lawsuit against Saudi Arabia over the 9/11 attacks.
Another popular clothing brand under fire for its ad campaign. This time, questions about whether the models are real people.
And from an epic home run derby in baseball to an off-the-foot interception and a Taylor Swift Travis Kelce sighting in college football. All the trending videos for your Friday morning.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America. First Look.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay in for Andrew.
And I'm Rhiannon and Allie. Good morning to all of you. We begin with a big change overnight for people buying products from overseas.
New tariffs took effect at midnight, closing a loophole affecting millions of international packages.
This morning, dozens of countries have suspended shipments to the U.S. That's because overnight, at the stroke of midnight, the Trump administration ended a tariff exemption that was in place for nearly a century. It was called the de minimis exemption. It allowed packages worth less than $800 to enter the U.S. tax-free and with minimal inspection.
It's a big scam going on against our country.
With the exemption now ended, many countries' postal services are scrambling to adapt to the new paperwork and fee collection. And critics worry about delays because now even small, low-value packages are subject to the full scrutiny of U.S. customs officials. The administration says it's doing this for several reasons. First, they say it will reduce the amount of drugs and counterfeit goods flowing into the U.S. A new government report found 89% of all cargo seizures came from de minimis shipments, including 97% of narcotics seizures. And the Trump administration says this move will help small businesses.
These foreign countries were sending in little packages for free and knocking out our mom and pop businesses across America.
The administration first ended the de minimis exemption for China back in May, targeting companies like Shein and Temu, which built their business models around shipping millions of ultra-cheap packages directly to American shoppers, tax-free. Supporters also say the president's new tariffs are bringing in big money to help bring down the federal deficit. According to one estimate, ending the de minimis loophole alone will bring in some $10 billion per year. But critics warn the tariffs could slow spending and could cost the average American household an estimated $1,300 this year.
UPS and FedEx say they're ready to comply with the new tariffs and continue shipping packages to the U.S.
Now to the Catholic school shooting in Minnesota. The 2 victims have now been identified as more parents and politicians push to better fortify schools nationwide. We are now hearing from the families of the 2 young students murdered in cold blood at Annunciation Catholic School.
We love you, Fletcher. You'll always be with us.
Grieving father Jesse Merkel, remembering his 8-year-old son Fletcher.
We will never be allowed to hold him, talk to him, play with him, and watch him grow into the wonderful young man he was on the path to becoming.
The other victim, 10-year-old Harper Moisky. Her family is demanding leaders address gun violence and the mental health crisis in America, saying no family should ever have to endure this kind of pain. Change is possible and it is necessary. Video taken by a parent who raced to the school shows the moments just after shots rang out Wednesday. The church had followed its own safety policy, locking its doors when Mass began. The shooter unleashing a hail of bullets from outside the building. In addition to the 2 children killed, 15 others were injured and 3 parishioners. First responders describing incredible moments of bravery, children not hesitating to risk their lives to protect their friends.
We had one kid that covered up another kid and took a shotgun blast to his back and things like that. And they were helping each other out.
One hospital treated 8 children. Amy Forchis rushed to her job as a pediatric nurse in that hospital, not knowing her 12-year-old daughter, Sophia, was among the victims. Sophia is now out of surgery but is in critical condition. Investigators have recovered 116 rifle rounds, 3 shotgun shells, and 1 live round stuck in the shooter's handgun. All 3 firearms, they say, were purchased legally. The suspect, Robin Westman, had no known criminal history but previously attended the school. Police say Westman left video and writing spewing hate towards just about everyone.
The shooter expressed hate towards Christian people. The shooter expressed hate towards Jewish people. In short, the shooter appeared to hate all of us.
A former classmate of Westman says she was friends with the boy then known as Robert Westman, but that friendship was short-lived.
When you see something like erratic, it doesn't leave your mind. So he would put up his hand and say, like, praise Hitler. I wish I could have said something sooner, but I was little.
It's just heart-wrenching. Westman died by suicide, and Minnesota's governor has ordered police patrols at more schools.
The FAA is investigating what caused air traffic control radios to fail in America's busiest airspace. The outage prompted a ground stop at Newark Airport, triggering lengthy delays. Controllers and pilots were struggling to hear each other. The problem was traced to a Philadelphia air traffic center plagued by staffing shortages and equipment failures. The FAA has spread arrivals farther apart to cope with the issues. Meanwhile, severe turbulence on a SkyWest flight sent 2 people to the hospital for evaluation. The plane flying from Aspen to Houston was diverted to Austin.
Now to the chaos at the CDC. The director ousted after clashing with Health Secretary Robert Kennedy over vaccine policy. Employees protesting, and now Kennedy is responding with a letter to the staff. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Nicole, good morning.
Rhiannon, good morning. Kennedy says the CDC is corrupt and needs fixing, claiming the agency did not always follow science during the pandemic. His fight to change vaccine policy led to the ousting of Director Susan Menores, who was sworn in just last month. Right now, she disputes being fired because she says she hasn't heard from President Trump, who's the only person who can fire her. But as that plays out, 4 other officials at the CDC have now resigned. And yesterday, employees staged a walkout accusing Kennedy of not following the science on vaccines. Now, in a letter to CDC staffers last night, Kennedy tried to lower tensions, saying, quote, "I want you to hear directly from me. The mission remains strong, and so does my full confidence in you. Your daily efforts, often unseen, save lives. Reform does not diminish your work, it strengthens it." And here's what Kennedy said yesterday about the reform he's working on.
There's a lot of trouble at CDC, and it's going to require getting rid of some people over the long term in order for us to change the institutional culture.
And Kennedy will testify before a Senate committee next week. In the meantime, his top deputy, Jim O'Neill, will run the CDC. O'Neill says he supports vaccines, but not vaccine mandates. Sophie.
Nicole, thank you. At least 21 people have died after Russia's massive attack on Ukraine yesterday. The European Union mission was among the many buildings damaged or destroyed. The White House says the attack shows both sides may not be ready to end the war. Ukrainian and U.S. officials meet in New York today.
In Mexico, a fight broke out on the Senate floor, 2 lawmakers coming to blows. It followed a heated debate over U.S. military intervention to fight the drug cartels. One lawmaker furious he wasn't given a chance to speak. The fight continued during a live news report as colleagues tried to pull them apart.
Now time for your Friday weather.
Good morning. Weather cooperating for the most part with holiday travel. The idea will be below normal temperatures, Great Lakes and Northeast, and then we see our showers, especially heavy parts of Louisiana and Texas, and also from New Mexico into parts of Colorado and into the Dakotas as well. As we head into the weekend, we still have cool temperatures, but some slight moderation, Great Lakes and Northeast. Scattered showers continue in the Southeast, and then from the Plains and Rockies, we're watching showers that only inch eastward slowly into Sunday and Labor Day. You're seeing some warming in the temperatures near 80 in Chicago and New York. The west looks really great, and scattered storms still in the south. With this stall front over the south, shower threats continue into Labor Day, but we're looking great from the Great Lakes into the Northeast. Maybe just some clouds over central New York State. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg. Have a great holiday weekend.
Coming up, the crash that killed a fighter jet pilot just before an air show.
Also ahead, a judge greenlights a lawsuit against Saudi Arabia over the 9/11 attacks.
And today marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina forever changed New Orleans. We go back next. A tragic scene before an air show in Europe. An F-16 fighter jet slamming into the ground, bursting into flames. A Polish army pilot was killed. It happened during rehearsals for the air show this weekend, which has now been canceled.
9/11 victims in New York say they've won their most consequential victory yet in a decades-long legal battle against Saudi Arabia. A judge has ruled Saudi officials can face a civil lawsuit, which claims Saudi Arabia assisted the 9/11 hijackers. The ruling means the families can now move ahead with evidence collection.
And today marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina forever changed New Orleans and the Gulf Coast. Survivors say we still have lessons to learn from that killer storm. 20 years ago today, Hurricane Katrina made landfall on the Gulf Coast, tearing a path of death and destruction for the history books. New Orleans suffering catastrophic flooding after the levees failed, submerging at least 80% of the city. People trapped on their roofs, waiting days to be rescued. The hurricane, one of the nation's worst ever natural disasters, left nearly 1,400 people dead, caused billions of dollars in damage, and raised unsettling questions about the lack of preparedness among government leaders at the local, state, and federal level.
We need help!
Across the Gulf Coast, Katrina displaced more than 1 million people. In New Orleans today, only 61% of the evacuated residents have returned. Those who went back were determined to rebuild.
So many people affected by this storm.
Our Robin Roberts was brought to tears reporting on the hurricane back in 2005. She grew up in Mississippi.
I had never in my entire life seen that kind of destruction.
Now, 2 decades later, she returned to see how the region is coping. It's clear some areas have not fully recovered. But in the years after the storm, New Orleans invested in significant flood protections, rebuilt homes and schools, and repurposed abandoned properties. The city's recovery also shaped by the revival of its vibrant music scene. Robin also traveled back to her hometown in Mississippi.
There's no discounting the destruction and the pain that New Orleans went through, but the eye of the storm went over the Mississippi Gulf Coast, not far from my home of Pasquishan.
The high school she once attended, destroyed, a new building now in its place.
Talk about being resilient. This is something about the South. You're not knocking us down completely.
Indeed, Robin. Ceremonies are being held across Mississippi and Louisiana today to honor those lives lost. And you can watch Robin Roberts' special tonight. You don't want to miss this. Katrina, 20 years after the storm. That is at 8 Eastern here on ABC.
Coming up, Wikipedia in the spotlight. Is the website biased?
Also ahead, questions being raised after U.S. border agents arrested 2 firefighters while they were fighting a wildfire in Washington state.
Police say a teenager was behind the wheel when he backed his truck right off this dock in Massachusetts, falling 15 feet into the water, narrowly missing his father's boat. He escaped through the window and is okay.
Oh, glad he's okay. Scary video there. A congressional committee is investigating allegations of bias at Wikipedia. Republican lawmakers claim foreign actors may be trying to use the site to influence public opinion by injecting bias into entries. Wikipedia says it's reviewing the request for information about its volunteer editors. And a sign of the times in the newspaper industry, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which is Atlanta's biggest newspaper, is phasing out its print edition. It will be digital only starting in January.
A developing story from the Pacific Northwest. Border agents have arrested 2 firefighters while they were fighting a wildfire. Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
This morning, critics voicing outrage after Border Patrol agents detained 2 firefighters battling a wildfire in Washington state. Agents lining up the 44-person firefighter crew before taking 2 into custody. Border Patrol says other agencies had requested their help to terminate the contracts of the firms hired to help fight the fire. As federal agents verified the identities of the crew, they say they learned 2 members were in the country illegally, one with a prior order of removal. The fire they were fighting, the Bear Gulch Fire, is the biggest in the state, burning about 9,000 acres since last month. Signs in the area now show support for the firefighters, one reading, "Fire is greater than ice."
All the hard work that they're doing, a lot of them aren't from here, and for them to come and leave their families and to come and protect ours is just an amazing and blessed event.
Washington's governor posting he's deeply concerned about this situation. "I've directed my team to get more information about what happened." Senator Patty Murray saying this administration's immigration policy is fundamentally sick. Lawyers for one of the firefighters calling his arrest unlawful, but Border Patrol saying it steadfastly enforces the laws of the United States and unapologetically addresses violations of immigration law wherever they are encountered.
Fire officials say the arrest of those 2 firefighters has not affected their firefighting efforts. Rhiannon, Sophie.
All right, Andrea, thank you for that. Coming up, where Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were just spotted last night.
Plus, the clothing chain under fire accused of using AI models in its ad campaign instead of real people.
It is time to check the pulse, and we begin with a baseball power surge in Philly.
Courtesy of Philly slugger Kyle Schwarber, he hit 4 home runs last night against the Braves. He's only the 21st player in Major League history to hit 4 homers in one game.
Really incredible. And a wild play in college football, a pass bouncing off of a Minnesota receiver's foot and then intercepted by a Buffalo defender. Despite the turnover, though, Minnesota still won it 23-10.
And we have a Taylor and Travis sighting. Their first public appearance since getting engaged was at last night's college football game in Kansas City. Kelsey's alma mater, Cincinnati, lost to Nebraska.
Next, an emotional night for Coco Gauff at the U.S. Open.
After struggling in her first set, she appeared to break down in tears, even burying her face in a towel. But she recovered to win that set in a tiebreaker, and after winning the match, she thanked her fans.
You guys really helped me a lot, so I'm doing this for myself, but I'm also doing it for you, and no matter how tough it gets inside, you can do it.
What a great message. Next, J. Crew is embroiled in a controversy over artificial intelligence.
Yeah, the retailer is accused of using AI fashion models, and critics are pointing to blunders in a new ad campaign, like a man whose foot seems to bend backward.
Yeah, and the photos are also raising questions about the ethics of AI and intellectual property as well. And finally, a kitten who's already used several of her 9 lives.
Rover is now with a family in California after she somehow got stuck in the underside of their Range Rover and survived a 150-mile drive. It took a mechanic hours to get her out, but she is okay.
They used a special device to get inside the engine to find her. And look how adorable and happy she is now. Love to see that. Top headlines next. Checking our top stories, the 2 young victims of the Minnesota Catholic school shooting have now been identified. Police say the shooter had expressed hatred to just about every group in society, but the exact motive remains unclear.
The FDA is recalling eggs linked to a salmonella outbreak sold under the brand names Nagatoshi, Mizuho, and Nagea. Nearly 100 people have gotten sick. We have more details on our website.
Finally, a group of middle schoolers marking 2 decades since Hurricane Katrina.
Here's Danny New.
At the conclusion of a 3-week program on Dillard University's campus recently, New Orleans middle school students were applauded for meeting a challenge to address a hurricane they were not alive to experience.
It came up with so many ideas.
Shane Turquete here is the program coordinator for what is called the Verizon Innovative Learning STEM Achievers Program, which the school hosts every summer. However, for the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina making landfall there, Trey and his colleagues employed the students to use modern technology to prevent another hurricane from leaving the same devastating trail the adults still remember.
Was your home okay?
So my home had minor damages, but majority of my family wasn't so lucky.
After being shown visuals on the damage Hurricane Katrina left, the students used tools like 3D printers to rebuild New Orleans with their ideas.
I added more bridges and hurricane bunker for people to stay in.
14-year-old Ann here was concerned with adding bridges and buildings on stilts. Meanwhile, 13-year-old Caden wanted to reconsider a subject that maybe is not everyone's first thought.
Mostly like the sewage system during the time didn't work, so probably a stronger sewage system.
Also, the students used virtual reality to get a 360-degree perspective of their proposed innovations.
Trinity chart here.
But in addition to new ideas and a deeper understanding of her city's past, Caden says she also came away from this experience with an important lesson.
Every problem has a solution, and even though something that bad happened before, you can always build off of that.
Just the most incredible kids. I had such a blast speaking with them. Okay, before the end of the show, real quick, Rhiannon, for you.
Are you proposing?
I'm proposing you don't leave, but you are anyway.
Yes, it is my last GMA Florida. That's what we call it. GMA First Look. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to the overnight team. It has been a pleasure the last 3.5 years. I don't want to get emotional. I'm trying not to cry. I will still be on ABC. You will see me on ABC News Live, on Good Morning America, GMA 3, World News. I'm going to be everywhere telling important stories. And you'll still see me probably on this show as well. Sophie, it's been so fun working with you this week. Danny, thank you for everything. I love you. And I love the whole crew. Thank you. See you soon.